The Leader of the Opposition.
Thanks, Mr Speaker. My question is to the Prime Minister. How many more outbreaks do there have to be until the Prime Minister understands that he needs to do his job and deliver a safe, national, purpose-built quarantine system and fix his bungled vaccine rollout?
The Prime Minister has the call.
Well, there you see it, Mr Speaker, the bipartisan display in the fight against the virus, Mr Speaker. That's what we've seen from the Labor Party all the way
Members
through
on
this,
both
Mr
sides.
Speaker. On every opportunity when they're tested, Mr Speaker, they've rather fight the Liberal Party, fighting those Tories, Mr Speaker, which is the reason why the Leader of the Labor Party came here. Didn't come here to work together to get solutions. He just came here to fight and fight the Tories, Mr Speaker. Fighting the Tories isn't going to fight the virus, Mr Speaker. That's what this government's doing. That's what this government's doing. And under this government, Mr Speaker, working with the states and territories, 30,000 deaths have been avoided in this country. 30,000 deaths avoided in this country when you compare it to the average of OECD countries around the world. And, Mr Speaker, there are more people in jobs today than there were before the pandemic. Now, the Leader of the Labor Party, Mr Speaker, may want to play politics with the pandemic.
The Leader of the Opposition resume his seat. The Prime Minister will resume his seat. The Treasurer will cease interjecting. I remind the House again that I've issued a general warning. The Prime Minister has been answering the question for exactly a minute. It was a very specific question. He's entitled to a short preamble. Can I say he's had a long preamble, and he needs to bring himself to the specifics of the question.
So, Mr Speaker, $500 million invested in the National Resilience Facility for quarantine in the Northern Territory. That was the recommendation of the Holton Review that went to National Cabinet, commissioned by National Cabinet, to supplement the support that is being provided and the exercise of public health orders at a state level as agreed by the National Cabinet to fight this pandemic. We're working to the plan that the states, territories and the Commonwealth agreed as part of the National Cabinet. The Leader of the Labor Party opposed the National Cabinet, then he said he wanted to be on it, Mr Speaker, and then he opposed it again and said it was useless. Mr Speaker, this is a Leader of the Labor Party who hasn't sought to help the government fight the virus.
The Prime Minister will resume his seat. The Manager of Opposition Business on a point of order.
On point of order on direct relevance, what the Prime Minister is saying now is neither relevant nor is it true.
I just say to the Prime Minister he needs to be relevant to the question. He's had a preamble and he doesn't get a closing statement. He's had the preamble. I'm making myself very clear.
Direct reference to the quarantine system put in place by the government with the states and territories.
Okay, well, I'm going to say to the Prime Minister he can pause. He had done that and he'd moved on. And I'm asking you to return to the question.
Happy to do that, Mr Speaker. So
I don't care whether you're happy or not. Okay. You need to return to the question.
$500 million, Mr Speaker, invested in the National Resilience Facility, putting in place support to go with a further system around the country done with the states and territories that has delivered a 99.99% effectiveness rate for quarantine in this country. That is just a simple fact. That is the system that this country has put in place. Mr Speaker, they are the facts of the effectiveness of the system run by our states and territories together with the Commonwealth. Those opposite may want to talk it down. Those opposite, Mr Speaker, may want to undermine public confidence, whether it's in the vaccine program or in the quarantine system.
Prime Minister will pause. The member for Isaacs will leave under Standing Order 94A.
As they have done right from the outset.